What up, gamers? Frontier here, and welcome back to Frontline 2 Exilium. So guys, this is the 100th video of my playthrough of Frontline 2 Exilium, and usually around the 100 video mark, like during these Let's Plays, I like to give my thoughts and review on the game so far, but I'll leave that at the end of the video, because I just rather, get to the content as much as possible. But yeah, here we go. What's a neon? Is it some kind of new Elid? I'm not too sure, but apparently one's been captured, and Chihuahua went missing around the same time. It's worth looking into. The neon. Sounds kind of familiar. Now, who mentioned it before? Maybe was it Mei-Ling? I think Mei-Ling told me a story about it in the past. It light snow had been falling outside back then, and the season seemed to match up. Meh, why not just ask them directly? These vendors seem like nice people. Surely they'll tell us about it, right? Sabrina decides to ask about the neon. The neon, huh? Well, you don't need to worry about it, dear customer. Looks like it was actually a thief mucking about. I never heard of it going after outsiders before. The expedition team of uncle of mine said that it comes out to cause trouble when the winter gives way to spring, and it goes back to sleep once spring comes. Hang in there, it won't be long. The festive trade fair is coming, and so is spring. Like they say in the farm, stronger and stronger each spring. This neon sounds like a marvelous piece. Is your uncle an expert on such things? Nah, all this stuff about the neon was collected by his pals and the expedition team from data chips they found outside. It's just that recently, we've been losing stuff here and there, and it fit the description of that neon monster causing trouble. Or tisk. Utter nonsense. What's all this rubbish about monsters? If you ask me, it's the fault of those trash collectors. My nephew in the guards has been doing extra shifts because of them for a long time now. They've changed patrols, and apparently they found weird tracks where those trash collectors live. Personally, I think it was done by some horrible UMA or something. I mean, we're in the contamination zone. I wouldn't be surprised if there were such mutants running around. Some UMA. Uma? Uma Musume? There's no getting through to occult freaks like you. As if you're any better. Where's your proof, you conspiracy theorist? Thanks, guys. We'll take our leave then. The vendors begin arguing with each other and pay no heed to us. They were just like friends, just like a few minutes ago. Sabrina breathes a sigh of relief as she backs away. She then signals to Groza and me, indicating that we should follow her. However, in her relief, Sabrina has not realized that the squad of patrolling guards is approaching us. Sabrina, look. Groza's warning comes too late. As Sabrina backs up, she crashes into the guards behind her. Oh boy. Huh? I'm sorry. It's alright, dear guest. Actually, we were looking for you. Would you mind coming with us? Could it be that you've seen the doll we're looking for? I'm sorry, but I don't quite get your meaning. However, I'm sure you don't want to cause a big disturbance here, am I right? Well, of course we don't want to make trouble, but... I mean, while your uniforms and look really convincing, blindly following strangers in the Yellow Zone is really dangerous. I'll need a more convincing reason to go with you. Rosa looks at me, and after seeing me nod, she indicates that Sabrina doesn't need to stall them. After all, rather than a trapeze around trying our luck, I'd rather place my faith in this chance to turning our situation around. Who knows, we might end up finding a new clue. It's alright, Sabrina. Please lead the way, gentlemen. The guard squad leader nods and takes us to the place on the outskirts of the fair. There are empty stalls around us and the lights are off. There are signs reading, "Preparing for the fair nearby." We apologize for interrupting your shopping, but we receive an anonymous report from a stall owner. Apparently, you've been browsing the fair for several hours but haven't purchased anything. Is that true? The guard's polite but suspicious gaze falls on our empty hands. We wish to simply understand the wares that are on offer at your trade fair in order to optimize our financial expenditures and acquire everything at once. And since the festive fair hasn't officially opened yet, I believe we ought to have some time to consider our purchases. Are we not free to do that? I see. That is most sensible explanation. However, according to that anonymous report, you specifically, these two dolls, did not ask any questions about what our sales personnel were selling. Dang. We've only just arrived here, so being curious about unfamiliar things is unavoidable. These questions were also meant to help us determine the length of our stay and the reliability of your merchandise. I see. Perhaps this was just a misunderstanding. However, we are compelled to do our due diligence, and thus I must remind you that according to the farm residence regulations, any personal inquiries, eavesdropping, and other such activities that are not sanctioned by the farm management are considered illegal. Repeat offenders will be banished from the farm and permanently barred from entry. Surely you must have heard that when passing through these security checkpoints. I urge you keep that in mind and avoid doing this again. Huh, being permanently barred from entry sounds pretty stiff. Well, that's a stroke of bad luck. I exchange glances with Groza. I see. We'll keep that in mind. Now then, please show us your entry permits. This interaction constitutes a first warning. I will need to verify your entry permit serial number and ensure that said warning has been logged. Eh? An entry permit? Sabrina slides up to me and nervously asks me the question. Commander, our entry permits, they won't work, right? I mean, if even asking around is illegal, then what are they going to think of illegal immigration like this, like what we just did? You think they'll just dump us off on the side of a cliff? I pass Sabrina's back to console her while I observe the surroundings. We're on the edge of the trade fair, and the cold wind is blowing wildly through the empty stalls. There are drifts of uncleared gray-white snow piled up against the walls. Even if we make a ruckus, I doubt it'll draw much attention. I give Groza a meaningful look. Certainly, my permit's right here. I make a show of reaching into my backpack, and the guards focus their attention on me. Okay, we're just gonna knock them out. Groza is ready to strike. Here you go. Oh, I thought she was about to do it, like I was the distraction. Okay, I think we're actually going with it. The guard, squad leader, reflexively reaches out to take my permit. I grab his hand. Oh. Oh, never mind. We are doing it. Okay, we are going for it. I grab his hand and immediately put his arm into a lock. The other guards are taken completely by surprise. Groza, knock them out. Will do. Groza seizes the opportunity I've created, while I yank the guard leader away from his squad. Sabrina, back Groza up. Just like that? Sorry, Mr. Guard, but right now, I need to ensure our freedom of movement. I'm gonna guess we're keeping that one guard that I'm holding on, like, alive, or I guess conscious, while the others are unconscious. Wow, look at this. You know, I've really never paid attention too much to the environment. Like, I don't know if, like I guess with the mall in... oh, hang on a bit. I want to top off my battery. So my mission is to provide support. Do your best, Groza. You've already beaten half the enemies. Sabrina, that's called supporting. Let's go. Everyone, we're withdrawing towards... Sabrina. What happened? Chocolate. Oh. She got distracted. I'm listening. We can break out in that direction, right? Make sure you protect the commander. Man, dude, all these different dolls with their own, like, different, like, quirks and stuff, their own personalities. What's that in our withdrawal direction? Is that an ice sculpture? How interesting. Yeah, I noticed that too, like it was glowing. A device. Doesn't look like one. Perhaps we should check it out if we get the chance. Yeah, so... You know, with all these different dolls with their, you know, different personalities and stuff. Like, I still do feel like, you know, Groza is probably like the most realistic out of all the characters. Like with the personality. You know, like very focused. You know, it's just more of just a normal human being in my opinion. while you got like idols speaking in, cryptic ways like Vepli and Sharkry, or even like Nemesis too. And then you got like Krolik being mean all the time. But yeah, I feel like, if there's one doll that you want to like maybe have the best communication with, it's probably Groza, in my opinion. I guess Springfield too. Because, like the calm-headed dolls, I would say. But yeah, I never really paid attention too much to the environment, I feel like, when it comes to these events. I think the mall back in, back in that one Vector event. Which, by the way, apparently she's in the banner. And I guess I was mistaken. I thought Centauressi was on the banner. Like, I was about to get her. I thought I saw Centauressi, like, during that live stream. Maybe I was, like, hallucinating. I really thought Centauressi was on the banner, but it was Vector instead. Okay, there we go. Alright. Nothing there. Where's that one last enemy at? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I said it yet. I'm actually now done, like, outfitting, like, the attachments with Springfield's weapon. And I've been doing, like, a lot of other people too. I forget which one I'm on now. I think Dish of Naya, actually. I'm reworking on right now. I'm switching the, I guess the, I don't know what you call it, but the set effect into the phase strike. I'm like slowly shifting everything to the, I guess most things to the phase strike. Before I would choose the elements, but like on Pridwin, it seems like a lot of them has been switching over to like the phase stuff, phase strike effect. Okay. Not even going for the enemy, man. Just everyone like retreat. Okay. And we're out of here. There we go. This one took longer than usual. Nice. Ordinary guards are no match for tactical dolls. However, the day's guards soon regain their bearings. This is Squad 3. This is Squad 3. Not good. Stop him. One of the guards is holding a communicator. Groza runs towards him. A laser dot flickers across her back. I turn to stay to the stray guard who's apparently slipped the net and kicked his gun away. We're on the west side of the market. Send. Something whistles through the air, and a spatula smashes into the guard's communicator, sending it flying. Stop! It's all a misunderstanding! A loud voice rings out from the distance. Everyone pauses for a moment, which is long enough for the girl who shouted, to run up to us. Chihua? The newcomer picks up the spatula and smiles breezily at us. Indeed, this is Type 97S Chihua, whom we haven't seen in a while. Okay. What is going on now? First, she was like being interrogated. A part of me feels like she's... Because, like earlier, she tried to get her neural cloud like backed up, right? But it kept on failing. I'm just wondering if like the inspector were trying to like, rewire her. Like, like change her programming to like make her work for them. Yo, what's up, my old chromes? Choha, you're okay, but then why didn't you tell us? You scared my parts off. Sabrina steps up and gives Chohua a warm hug. Chohua gently pats Sabrina on the back, then winks at me before gently extracting herself from Sabrina's arms and turning to the guard. Sorry about that, bro. Here's our permit. This is my commander. We were operating separately for a bit, but our signal was cut off. They panicked a little and forgot how things worked. Chohua produces her entry permit and hands it to the guard squad leader. Don't worry, we'll follow the rules from now on. Assaulting an officer is also a violation of the rules. Oh, come on. Can you just let it slide? If they're passed out, I'll just shake them awake. How about that? I mean, it's not like anyone died, right? See? No serious injuries or anything. This doesn't even count as an assault here in the yellow zone. Maybe an accident or something at most. Hmm? You're going to wake up people up? Let me help. After getting my approval, Sabrina and Grossa begin helping Chohua with the cleanup to show our sincerity. What rubbish is this? You. Just then, the communicator that's lying on the ground nearby connects automatically, and a distress call from another guard squad comes through. Looks like your guard friends are busy. It's festival and all. I mean, this is a key period for the trade fair, where there are the most people around. So since we're alright here, we won't delay you guys any further. So what say you close an eye to this, and we'll live our lives on the straight and narrow from now on. Doesn't that work out for everyone? The distress call from the communicator keeps going. The squad leader glares hard at Chohua, then grits his teeth, and picks up Chohua's entry permit. Let me check your logs. So you were arrested, and you were just released? Yeah. It was a misunderstanding. Look, it says not guilty right there, doesn't it? You've had way too many people here recently, so it's no wonder why these hiccups keep happening. Like this time around, for example, our commander's here to make big buys at your festive trade fair, and he's all about peaceful coexistence. Definitely not here to make trouble. The guard captain is silent for a very long time. Clearly, he doesn't want to deal with Chohua. Fine then. The warning's been logged. Any future violations will result in a stiff penalty. The guard eyes us reproachfully. I hope you will abide by the farm's rules from now on. Sure thing. Help me wish the rest of the boys a happy festival. Sorry for the trouble. The guard squad leader is forced to smile politely in response to Chohua's beaming grin, and then goes to check on his downed men. Chohua helps lift up the unconscious guards and hands them over to their comrades. Then she pats her chest with a chuckle. Whew, we might have not gotten out this so easily if the guards weren't already so overworked. At last, Chohua looks at me in the eye. Her smile hasn't changed much, but there's a strange emotion in her eyes, one which doesn't translate well into words. It feels like she's getting emotional. It's been a while, Commander. Her voice is softer just now, with hints of gentleness that's quite rare for her. Oh, and Sabrina in OTS 14? Glad to meet you. She's Groza. Just call her Groza from now on. Hello, Chohua. So our mission to find Chohua is complete then. It went better than expected. Chohua, I haven't seen you around since you finished that job in the previous satellite city. How did you lose contact with us? When we get back, you'll have to tell me all about it. As Sabrina grabs Chohua and begins to drag her away, Groza looks at me. Commander, we'll be going back now, or are we staying here for a bit longer? Well, since Chohua's entry permit passed muster, I think we can make proper purchases, and if we can shop, why not call the others over from the Elmo? The festival is almost upon us, and Mainling's been looking forward to the shopping and celebration. Wait. Chohua tugs on Sabrina's arm, indicating that she should stop. Commander, please allow me to stay here for a few more days. I have some unfinished business that I need to take care of. Unfinished business? I can't talk about it here. Please follow me, everyone. Chohua's face grows serious as she looks at the nearby guards. Well, that sounds really fishy. You think she got caught for that reason? Because maybe there's like some other serious business that she's in? That is mistaken for maybe her stealing stuff? That's what I'm guessing. Alright. So yeah, are things gonna be somewhat livelier now and more friendly? like this, you know, like this would make it out to be? Or is it still gonna be kind of scary? I don't know. Let's go for a story node now. The long winter night finally arrives in full by the time we reach the Highland. Several Gaunt's workers are are tying up strips of red cloth on their tents. Chohua says they're decorating for the festive trade fair. She leads us to the edge of the settlement, which is bordered by a barren land. These assorted forms of ruined buildings are visible in the distance. This is it, let's go in. There are over a dozen tents around us, all lit up. which just barely serves to banish the darkness. Some of them have ornaments made of red paper on them. The lights inside the tents make them cast twisted shadows on the ground. Choha brings us into one of these tents. Choha, are you out? I heard you were released this afternoon. I just knew you'd be around. Here, Chief Yura. Oh, that's Chief Yura. I don't know what to give his voice. I guess I'll give him a deeper voice. I thought I heard your voice over the interrogation room loudspeaker. Did you get me out of there? They were sending me a bunch of questions I had no clue about, and they wouldn't let me leave either. I was bored out of my mind in there. Well, my boys discovered some new evidence that proved your innocence, so I had them send it in. Fortunately, I'm the scavenger representative in the management, so I could request to sit in on the questioning. Then that new evidence just arrived just in time, so I submitted it. Thank you, and thanks to your boys and the scavengers. Well, you're a guest who came to help us, so it only makes sense that we should help you if you were wronged. I mean, the festive trade fair is almost here. We couldn't just let you spend it rotting in jail, right? Oh yes, these guests of yours are. This is my commander. These are my friends, Sabrina and Groza. So you're the commander that Showa keeps talking about. Welcome to the scavenger camp. I'm sure you haven't spoken in a long time, so you must have a lot to talk about, right? Well, don't be shy. Feel free to take the load off here and rest here. The scavengers always welcome new members to the family. Yura stands up and gives us the tent for ourselves. I'll go see whether our experiments in raising crops have borne fruit. Feel free to catch up with the other. Looks like this tent is ours for the time being. Alright, have a seat, and let me tell you the story so far. Quick, tell us, Aminda. Oh, tell us. Aminda was worried about you too. Sorry for making you all worry. Anyway, just give me a few minutes to tell you a little of historical background. I used to work in a green zone farm. Back then, my boss was an old lady who was really nice to dolls and took really good care of me. She came from what we call now Darksteel Farm. But if not wrong, Aminda's intel states that Darksteel Farm was only just recently founded. I'm talking about the former Darksteel Farm before the war. Back then, it was called Sunset Farm. After the farm was abandoned, its people wandered all over the place, but that lady was still really attached to her former home. After I decided to go work in the Illozone, she asked me to find the descendants of her former friends and neighbors and check on them in her place. Wow, I didn't think you mentioned her before. I didn't know she had a background like that. Yup. I heard that someone rebuilt the farm, and after learning that the descendants of former farm residents were going back this year, I made plans to come by and pay a visit. Then, Amanda came back from the underground brokers gathering and told me that she'd run into the commander, and that the agreement's restrictions had been relaxed, so as it turns out, going to the farm would end up bringing me back to the Elmo too. Heck yeah. See, definitely this takes place after that whole previous event with the Mimi's Runners loop. I was thinking of taking care of the old lady's request, and then meeting up with the commander after everything was settled, but I didn't expect that it would end up causing trouble for everyone. Chohua puts her hands together and apologetically and smiles sheepishly. No problem. Keep going. So why did the people here lock you up anyway? Well, there had been a spate of theft cases shortly after my arrival, with the stolen items being rare spices, and the guards just so happened to find unknown drag marks in the barren land out back. The only people there were me and the scavengers. The guards weren't able to find anything on the scavengers, but they just happened to find the exact same spices that they were missing on me. Like, are you not allowed to cook stuff that actually tastes good? Couldn't they have imagined that I might have brought it along myself? Chohua slaps her thigh in annoyance, then she glances at me and mutters under her breath. I went out of my way to gather all those spices. Since we were meeting again after so long, I wanted to show you what I'd learned during my time apart, and give you a taste of my skills. But now, the surprise is all ruined. Well, we've got a long time ahead of us. There's no need to rush it. So they arrested you because you just happened to have the same kind of spices on you, without any concrete proof that you had stolen it. It feels like the management's handling of the case was very sloppy. Well, that wasn't the only reason why. It was only after I came here that I learned that Sunset Farm's descendants were now called scavengers. Their living conditions were pretty bad, and the other residents treated them like crap. I was living with the scavengers until a few days ago, which made me one of them in the eyes of the Darksteel farm. When they interrogated me, the guy doing it kept trying to make me say I stole stuff for them. So you were saying the management suspected the scavengers of using you to steal supplies, and they tried to use you to make their case? Yep. Chief Yura told me that the scavengers weren't doing so well on the farm. For starters, a lot of people ended up turning into thievery because they couldn't earn enough contribution points to survive. But the guards already dealt with them. Based on what I've seen so far, the descendants of Sunset Farm who are still here in the Highlands don't seem to like criminals to me. It's hard to sway public opinion with a subjective opinion now that their biases have developed. So I was thinking and took a look at the situation. While a lot of stuff's been stolen, these scavengers wouldn't be starving like this if they actually managed to get their hands on it. Also, the fact that I was released at all was because Chief Yura's evidence convinced them. When I came out, however, I heard the guards talking about how the evidence cleared me, but at the expense of making the scavengers look even more suspicious. Chief Yura never mentioned anything like that. Chohua scratches her head and then shoots me a pleading, desperate look. Commander, I want to help clear these scavengers' name. That would help me. That would let me help them and fulfill that request from my previous employer. Could you give me a few more days? The interior of the tent is dimly lit by a little red lantern in the corner of the room. Compared to the affluence of trade fair, the people here, hemmed by circumstance, still tend to be positive. I look at Chohua's eyes, which shine with determination, and I find it very hard to say no to her. Let me guess, even if I said no, you wouldn't let things be even if you came back to the Elmo, right? Yep, you know me best, Commander. Then let's take care of this together and head back into town again. What? You said yes? Awesome. Chohua jumps for joy, but just as she's about to glop me, I push her back into her seat. So what, do you have any ideas on how to clear the scavengers' names? What can we do to help? Chohua's attention returns to the task at hand. Well, I didn't get to ask Chief Yura about the new evidence he found. Maybe I could go grab him and have him explain it to us? After seeing me nod in agreement, Chohua heads out and returns shortly afterwards with Chief Yura in tow. Commander, I heard Chohua say that you were willing to help us out. You arrived just in time. I'd like to thank you all on behalf of us scavengers. Well, that's enough meet and greet for now. Chief Yura, tell us about this new evidence you found. It's like this. We scavengers have been trying to plant new crops in the wasteland, and we take pictures of our plots at regular intervals as part of our experiment records. Yura indicates a set of pictures to me. These pictures capture the drag marks or what the guards considered evidence of transportation of stolen goods. Well, the guards only found those marks a couple of days ago. I'd like you to take a look at this picture. It was only when we checked the date of today's picture that we realized that the marks like this had already shown up since last month, and Chohua hadn't arrived yet. I see. And that meant I wasn't likely to be the suspect. Chief, thanks again for submitting this evidence. Well, the inspector here is a pretty reasonable guy, and he was the one who ultimately decided to release you after looking at the pictures. I wouldn't dare claim all the credit for that. Still, that won't prove the scavenger's innocence, right? Yura's forced smile fades. Well, I'm trying to do that. Truth is, a few of my boys might end up being taken in for questioning over the next few days. Commander, Chohua always said you were a very capable and knowledgeable person. Do you have any advice for us? To be frank, I don't fully understand the situation. Perhaps we might learn something if he had surveillance footage of the scene of the crime. Yura shifts uncomfortably. Well, for various reasons. Everyone is wary of us scavengers. I know exactly where the security kiosks with the footage you need are located, but it's hard for us to go near those places. We'd probably end up reported before we even get there and end up spawning an entire tail of guards. If you know where to find it, just leave it to me. Yep, Rosa, Sabrina, you should go with her. We can plan our next move after obtaining that footage. Okay. I'm gonna guess we got caught. What the heck is this smiley face? Is that like security, you think? Like to hack into the system? It sounds like a level 2 thing. Okay. Yeah, I want to get to this Frostfall squad. I wonder when we get to that. It's so cool to see them. Because there's some like other set of characters we haven't seen yet into the story. At least for the events in the main story. I don't know about anything else. The night wears on. I wait in the tent for a word from them. My communicator chirps and banishes my glowing sleepiness. Oh my gosh, it's been such a long time. Is she kind of zoomed in? She looks kind of zoomed in to me. Commander? Ripley's magnified face appears on the screen, like she's trying to smush it into the camera. Ripley, maybe you should back up a bit? Commander, why do you look so gloomy? Did you miss Ripley? Ripley's ready to give you an extra special pep-up performance. I heard people say that idols need to check their image before doing a show. Have you properly inspected your outfit, Ripley? Oh, Colfin. If the commander saw Vepley in a messy state, that might damage your idol image. Huh? That's right. I can let the commander see Vepley when she's a mess. Vepley squeals and hops off to the side. Commander, did you miss me? Colfin is smiling, but it seems a little forced. Did anything new happen on your end, Colfin? Yes, that wounded lady is stable now. She's asleep at the moment, but she'll probably wake up soon. We can't perform a more in-depth diagnosis or treatment in our current location, so I'd like to move her to a more suitable medical environment. Do we have access to anywhere that fits the bill, Commander? I see. I found a suitable location for the time being on my end. I'll send you the coordinates, so bring a missed casualty over. Be careful on the way here, and keep a low profile. Keeping a low profile with Vepley around is a big ask. Still, it's no problem for me. See you later, Commander. I mean, why do you have to bring Vepley? Why not bring anyone else that might be better for the job? The transmission ends and the clock display in the corner of the screen is silently increments. It's about time Chohua and the others checked in. Hey, all clear. Move in. Rosa and Sabrina jump up to where Chohua is and crouch behind a pile of junk. The cold light of the street lamps dye the walls of the security kiosk a stark white. The boots of patrolling guards tromp over half-melted snow and leave a muddy path behind on the ground. Our target is right below us. According to Chief Yura, this kiosk might ought to have surveillance footage of the fair and the settlement districts with the most death cases. Should we contact the commander? Doing it now. Groza, how are things going? Commander, the target is in sight. Once this patrol passes by, we'll have 15 minutes to approach the target. Right, I'll stay in touch on my end. There's a security camera there. Can you take care of it, Sabrina? Leave it to me. I've got a camera disruptor. Disabling it for 15 minutes is no problem. The ground is slippery, so mind your feet. I gotta say, man, I do like Sabrina here. Like, I think, it's pretty cool now seeing her in the story more often. But also, I think, with her, gimmick, being like a mechanic and stuff, and a tinkerer, like, I think it's really cool. She's got all these gadgets and stuff. Eh? Terrain like that is kind of bad for high inertia frames, right? You'll be fine with me around. Oh, you're so awesome, Chohua. Quiet. Prepare to move out. Okay. The final guard to the patrol follows their route and heads into the distance. Behind him, they all silently land on the ground and approach the kiosk. I can't open it. This lock is pretty solid. Let me try. Sabrina produces a small item, and the lock cylinders click. It's open. Whoa, that's awesome. What is that? It's just a miniature electromagnetic pulsar. Focus, ladies. Chohua resists the urge to chat. She nods vigorously, then begins searching the kiosk. Oh no. Some of the cameras weren't activated. No, wait. They weren't even wired up in the first place because they were just dummies. So they were decoys. Dummies. So they were just there for a psychological effect? Were they trying to cut costs? This settlement doesn't seem hard-pressed for money, though. Yeah, I gotta say, man, the security and all that stuff is it's kind of weird. It does seem rather suspicious. Are the cameras we're looking for there? Speak of the devil, I just found out. Turns out the one we're looking for isn't 4 isn't a dummy. The camera's logs are here, but we need really high access levels to copy the data. Rosa, how much do we have? How much longer do we have? 8 minutes. Looks like we don't have time to hack ourselves. Better access. I was thinking of using our neural clouds to directly transcribe the data, which would make it easier to filter through the scenes. Commander, does that work for you? It does. Proceed. The video data begins playing at high speed. What is this? I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary. Sure the footage hasn't been doctored? Wait, I think it has. Look at this. It's almost imperceptible, but those are editing artifacts. These videos are not the original footage. Can you restore the originals? It's theoretically possible, but we'll need to access the servers in level 2 to crack their defenses. Yeah, here we go. We only have 4 minutes to do it though. 4 more minutes? No wait, it's down to 3. Commander, I think I can do it. You have 2.5 minutes. If it doesn't work out, forget it and focus on getting out of there. Will do. Dang, how long do they talk? I mean, I talk fast, but like, it went from like 15 to 8 to like 4, like, jeez, dude. Like, yeah, it kind of feels like the dialogue doesn't really matches up too much with the time, if you like. Because, you know, I do talk fast. But even I feel like if you talk at a normal pace, like if they had like proper voice acting, yeah, like it still wouldn't really match up to that timing, in my opinion. Okay. Hey, good job, guys. I still didn't switch my team out. I'm just like using like whatever right now. There we go, good job. Nice, that was fast. Huh? We're almost out of time here. Counting down now, 5, 4, 3, 2. We did it. We managed to restore the original data. I see the guards approaching. What are you staying around for? Move it already. The dolls make to leave. Nobody says anything else. In just a few minutes, the only sound audible on the communicator are the sounds of the wind blowing, which eventually fades. Commander, do you read me? I read you. Go ahead. We found a hiding place and we're safe for the time being. I'm uploading the video data now. We'll return while avoiding the guards. Roger. While waiting for the dolls to return, Yura and I go through the original footage. Yura looks thoughtful, but he doesn't say anything. Chief Yura, did you learn anything from these videos? No, but there's one thing I'm curious about. Would a normal person actually mess around with this footage? I have a hunch, but it can't be true, right? There's no way. Yura begins muttering to himself. Hang on, I think I just saw something. I'm sorry, but could you rewind that? I bring up the scene Yura wants to see. Commander, take a look at this. Oh, Yura points at the part of the screen. Is there something moving here? I enhance the portion of the image in question. Snow is falling, and a line of mini robots are transporting supply crates at an even clip across the snowy ground. That much is obvious. Several hours later, the trail on the ground is slowly covered up by the grayish white snow. I clip this loop and begin replaying it. These are mass-produced robots. Ah, so they were mass-produced models. No wonder they seem so familiar. Many of us scavengers have seen them before. But this one, Rura points to one of the mini robots. One of its arms are clearly unusual compared to its fellows. Here, I remember packing up one of these robots with an axe, and in this exact place too. Wait, seriously? What are those odds? So you've encountered it before. In the ruins. Darksteel Farm was built on the ruins of the former farm. Most people live in the rebuilt areas, but the outskirts have a lot of areas that haven't been properly reclaimed yet. From time to time, many robots like this emerge from the depths of the ruins, and that was where I encountered it last. So you go in and out the ruins regularly, Chief Yura? Yura scratches his head. Well, it's actually like this. After we scavengers came back here, we were assigned to clear out any hidden dangers and rebuild the ruins. After all, these ruins could have been built by our ancestors and nobody would know the farm better than us, unfortunately. Yura shrugs and falls silent. Mini robots in it from the depths of the ruins. So assuming these robots' ultimate destination was the depths of the ruins, that would mean they'd have to pass through the wasteland around here, right? Yes. Oh, I see. That's why they found the proof of our guilt outside of our test plots. Now this is just a guess, so in order to verify it, we'll have to find them in the ruins, as well as the stolen items. I point to the crates they're carrying. I'll lead the way, although our attempts to rebuild didn't turn out too well. We've managed to map out a couple of routes that'll take us deep into the ruins with minimal risk. That ought to help. In that case, we'll head out once Jopa and the others come back. Alright, I'll go get ready. The sun should be up by then. Yura looks outside the tent, and my gaze follows his. The ruins sprawl before us like a beast awaiting its prey. Alright. Alright, to the ruins we go, man. This possibly might be the last one. We'll see. You know, because it is like, the 100th video, maybe I could make it go for 1 hour. Just like, get the most out of the story, out of the content here. After Chohua and the company return to the scavenger camp, Yura takes us into the ruins. A long time ago, this place was called Sunset Farm, and it was my home. I've been wanting to come back ever since I was a kid, but when I did, I found that it was completely different from what I imagined. Naturally, I knew this place had been rebuilt after being reduced to ruins, but I didn't expect its ruin to be so thorough. Yura pulls on his gloves, and pulls a tangle of twisted rebar aside, clearing a narrow path for the rest of the group. When I was young, Grandpa used to tell me stories about how fertile and prosperous our home was, how the scent of fruits filled the air all year round, and painted pictures of lush wheat fields stretching out to the horizon. I always thought this place would be like a fairy tale kingdom. Of course, after I grew up, I knew that there wouldn't be a place like that in the Yellow Zone, and that Grandpa's stories were embellished for effect. Still, thinking about scenes like that was strangely calming. If only it were real. Unfortunately, the only thing here that's real is this ugly rebar that's everywhere. Shohua and Groza help him clear the rest of the obstacles from their way. It sounds like a paradise. So why did you leave? Also, how did you guys come back, Chief Yura? Why we left? I don't know. Gramps might have mentioned it, but in truth, everyone who left had their own reasons for it. Maybe it was because of the war, a sandstorm, a poor harvest one year, because they wanted to live elsewhere, or because they couldn't hold on to the farm. It's hard to isolate a single reason for it. In any case, by the time I was born, my elders and I were thousands of kilometers from the farm. You went that far? But given the state of the Yellow Zone now, returning must have been difficult too, right? Oh yes, we walked a long, long way. Just surviving until now was a miracle, and it led my people here. Yura puffs up his chest as he mentions that last part. After all, restoring the former glory of my hometown has been a childhood dream of mine. After I heard that people were going to rebuild the farm, I began making my way here. I met others from this place along the way, and they decided to follow me on my journey. We've been traveling for a long, long time. We only just managed to reach here last year, and by the time the farm had its management committee set up, the inspector was also very reasonable. It's not often you find such an orderly place in the Yellow Zone. Yura's reminiscence suddenly cuts off. What happened after that? Chief Yura, it's not polite to stop telling a story halfway. And then... Yura laughs, but there is a gloominess in his eyes. Well, things haven't been good for everyone recently, and there's a limit to how many people on the local resources can support. We came late, and the guards, expeditions, and merchants were all filled to capacity. Back then, there was a lot of deep debate over whether or not to take us in, but the inspector silenced all debate and allowed us to stay. For free? Out of the kindness of his heart? I guess the original plan was mutual benefits, I think. I became the representative of the descendants of Sunset Farm to negotiate a deal with the inspector. After all, we came from this place, and we had a lot of exclusive information about the ruins here. We had an advantage over others when it came to rebuilding the ruins or raising crops. Oh, and if you could redevelop the ruins or grow food, you earn a ton of contribution points, right? Yes, if we could do that, I'd use those talking points to argue that they should take us in on account of us being able to provide these settlements with extra resources, and the expector accepted. Unfortunately, it turns out farming and rebuilding the ruins was harder than expected. Saying so, Yuri reaches out to dust off some twigs that fell on me. Be careful. This plant grows everywhere around here, and nobody knows what the heck it is. Its branches are mildly toxic, and while small amounts aren't a problem, letting it build up over several hours is. A few of our guys ended up puking and crapping their guts out at the same time. Not a fun experience. Choha freezes up, then picks up one of the twigs and begins observing it. Get rid of it, Choha. Dolls might not get poisoned, but your commander is a different story. Yura snatches the twig away and throws it into the distance. Huh? Aw. Was she about to use it like an ingredient? Toxins, unknown machines, elids, expired gunpowder. The ruins have everything. We can't go further in without the right tools for it. Our attempts at raising crops failed too. The soil composition now is different from our ancestors' time, and our experience from the past can't be applied to our current situation. Looks like surviving is hard for everyone. So the scavengers are in dire straits then. Bang on the money. We're bringing in fewer and fewer contribution points, to the point where we're having trouble just obtaining enough supplies to survive. We're still collecting the damaged goods for emergency use that the management issues. Some of our boys even got desperate and tried doing some messed up things, which got them kicked out by the management. I tried to persuade them to hang in there a little longer, but Yura shakes his head. So they decided to turn to banditry. Huh. Stories like that are dime a dozen in the Yellow Zone. Yeah, you were wrongly blamed for stuff going missing because of us. Sorry about that, Showa. Yeah, they I think they were meant to put a comma before the or after the yeah. There. I'm sorry to burden you guys with this, but I just had to let it out. Yura scratches his head. Well, Chohua has been released at least. She's not the type to hold grudges, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Yep. It's not like I lost my parts while doing it. It's no biggie. Yura looks at the ground and sighs again. When he looks up, it is as though a weight has been taken off him. Sorry to interrupt you, but there are unknown robots approaching. It seems we've triggered some kind of defense program. Oh, did I skip something there? No. So it's time to fight? Come on then. I've been waiting for this. Alright. Yeah, maybe what we'll do is, try to finish up this whole, stage here. Then that'll be it. Then I'll give my thoughts on the game so far. Ready for battle? The enemy is almost in range. Yep. We can confirm their models at this range, right? If they're really high-end, if they're really the high-end kind, I'm getting nervous. Oh, there she is. What are you worried about? You got me around, don't you? I've got it. No matter what kind of big luck comes, I'll dunk it into the deep fryer until it's golden brown. Food puns. Or maybe not puns, but food smack talk. Warning, enemy approaching. Oh, let me take a look. Huh, piece of cake. Don't get careless. Prepare for battle. Alright, got it. Alright, I see a lot of enemies around here. There's a bunch of diner gates and a bomb. Okay. Yeah, I gotta say, so far, I'm guessing we're like, halfway into the story. I feel like the story is like just okay. I mean, I can definitely see the difference between like the Mimi's Brother's Loop and this one here. Like, I want to say it kind of feels like the what's her name again? The one, like, I forgot her name, but it's the one that, before Aminda, I guess before the Mimi's Brother's Loop, that event with the Monsoon Squad leader. Yeah, that one. Like, it kind of felt like that, because with that event story, that was my least favorite. This one here feels like probably my second least favorite so far, but we'll see if things get more exciting later on. Rosa inspects a broken SF minibot. Commander, I think we can follow their navigation data back to their base. How long will that take? The security programs are fairly primitive, so it won't take long. Just then, Golfin sends a comms request and I accepted it. Commander, were you thinking of Vepley? Vepley's carefully checked her image and the Comforts concerts, all ready to go. Vepley, did we just get here? It would be bad to perform a live show without properly setting up the stage, no? Oh yeah, now where should I put up all this equipment? Vepley will do it now. Vepley hops and skips and jumps out of the frame. Commander, I have good news and bad news. From the joyless cast of her mouth, I suddenly realized it was not all well. Go on. Very well. So that hurt lady just woke up. Well, that's good to hear. You don't seem too happy about it, though. That's the bad news. She seems to have lost her memory. Golfin points at the camera at the woman who's lying down. Miss, what should we call you? Who am I? Who are you? Do you remember how you got here? What do you plan to do next? Do you need our help? I'm sorry, my head hurts. I don't remember anything. She looks lost and confused. Golfin looks back and sighs. As you can see, Commander, that's how she is. What should I do about her now? A scavenger pokes his head in from the edge of the frame. Wow, we can see Chief Yura through this. Hey, Chief Yura, and that other chief, how are you doing? We heard it all just now. Looks like the lady is going to have to stay with us for a while to recover. Don't worry though, we'll make sure she gets the best care. All visitors are friends after all. Man, the scavengers, man, they're really friendly. Oh, I'll leave that to you then. Don't worry, Commander. Just let her heal. We'll decide on what to do next when she recovers her memory. Golfin, keep an eye on her health. The rest can wait until we get back. Will do, Commander. Golfin ends the transmission just as Groza finishes her analysis. Commander, I found her destination. If I'm not wrong, these mini-robots' origin and destination are over here. Yes, we'll head over now. It's pretty deep into the ruins. We've never been there before. What's there to be afraid of? Things will be fine since we got the Commander backing us up. Let's go. Oh, now is it? Alright, and that was it. Okay. Should I do one more? I did want to make it into the hour here. But maybe we can just end things early off. Like here. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. That's pretty much it for this video. Ending it off with Groza's burnt I guess doll corpse thing. Dang. Still have like ways to go a little bit here. But yeah, next time we'll continue here. Yeah, so far with this game and the story and stuff, like I do like the story. Not all of it was like, all rainbows and sunshine, I would say. I guess it was at least good. I do feel like the beginning of this game, and because, I'm like new to the franchise, because I'm new to like Girls Frontline in general, that, it did take a while for me to like get into. There was some like terminology that I had to like understand and stuff, like the yellow zone, the green zones, the red zones. Like, I don't know them fully, but like I can, get some context clues where the green zone is like safe. The yellow zone I imagine would be like, I'm guessing in the middle of the wasteland and stuff is what I'm guessing. And then like the red zones is like, I guess it's all like danger and there's no like settlements there and stuff. But stuff like that, there was like a lot of like, terminology that over time I did pick up on. But at the same time, I felt like I do notice like the change in the story and the writing here, where at the beginning it was very different, where like I feel like every action needed to be said. Like, Rosa, put in the coordinates for 1385 T-0S1. I feel like there was like a lot of that at the beginning of the story. I think over time the dialogue now is more simplified. I do like that now. You don't need to keep saying like, go to these coordinates and stuff. Like, it doesn't feel like like, I guess complicated in that sense. Yeah, hey, let's go to this point. Point E-0118. But yeah, I remember just saying that a lot, like at the beginning of the game. I think now the story's a lot better, where like it's a bit more simplified. And at the very least, all the stories so far has been at least, good. I don't think there was a bad story. There was some that felt maybe underwhelming, like the Monsoon Squad leader. But there were some that were like really, really great. Like the, I guess like the big events that takes like 2 parts, right? And that was really good, like the Mimi's Bonus Loop, in my opinion. But yeah, and I guess with that, with the story and stuff, I do kind of dislike, and I guess it's understandable, where like the gameplay of the story. Well, I guess before that, let me just let me go more into the story, like the structure. I'm not a big fan of like how the way to do the story here is that they just have like a normal campaign, like without the events and stuff. They got this. Oh, wait a minute, what the heck? I never noticed before. I never noticed this. 1.0, 6.5. So was this a timeline? I never noticed this before. Yeah, this is the first event. Wait, is this not how to do the past events? Wait, so what is this tab for? I thought they would put this in the past events tab. But no, instead they put it here. Okay. You know what? Maybe it's not that bad. Like, especially if you're a new player, maybe, but... Yeah, I do kind of dislike how, like, Wait, there's even more? Oh, were these, like, here before? But then, like, they just insert these over here? I think so. Okay. Yeah, I got so confused with this new layouts now. I've never, like, maybe seen this before, I think. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of, like, just how the story is, like, I guess, updated over time, because, after all this stuff here, really the main story now takes place with these events over here, which, gives me pressure now to, like, make sure I like, record on time. Like, I wasn't able to record one of the events. It was the Dish of Naya event. And yeah, I just hate that, it seems like the main story now is going to be, taking place now in the events, rather than, like, a not time-limited story here instead. Like, yeah, I'll be fine if, like, I would be happy if they, or prefer, if they have, like, the, the main story here, and then all, like, the side stuff for the events here. But yeah, not a big fan of that. It makes like the way you take in the story, like, you can feel that gap missing, like, especially with the whole, like, Helena stuff going on, like, that takes place in the event story. Like, I guess you can say, stuff that happens, at some point, you can maybe go without some of the story. Stuff like the Yuhi event or the Monsoon Squad Leader event. Like, yeah, you can just assume that, they all got together. But, you wonder just how they got together. That'll be more important. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. And then also with the story, with the gameplay too, like... And, this is only from a story perspective. But also at the same time, it makes sense for, like, new players. But yeah, like, as you've seen so far, like, it's been just, like, really easy to clear them. Like, just auto battle, no gameplay. They're all, like, one shot, hits pretty much. Yeah, it makes sense for newer players though. But, I guess all the gameplay instead is made more for the challenge mode and stuff. Which, yeah, I guess it's not that bad. It's just, when it comes to me as a story player, I just wish there was more gameplay, and I don't need to feel to keep on reading and stuff. But that's just me though. I think in general, I think it's perfectly fine, because you still get the harder gameplay. But as a story guy, that is mainly a story guy, I just wish there was some gameplay too that is like challenging for me. But yeah, man, it's been like 100 videos. And yeah, man, can't wait to make some more. I think with this game here, definitely could be a mainstay game. You know, at some points I did feel like slowing down. Because, you know, I just wasn't really into the whole, like, the storytelling aspect of the game. But actually, you know, I've been having really fun with this game. Just, like, building up the dolls and stuff. And yeah, here's all my dolls so far, man. Like, I've been really working on them. Like, mainly with their attachments and stuff right now. At some points, I do want to work on their levels. And I probably do have enough for their levels, but I want to work on, like, the main dolls that I want first. Like my goals with, like, Andorus and Belka and Centauressi at some points as well. But yeah. And then after that, I guess I'll do, like, whatever I want to, you know, level up on. Anyway, guys, yeah. I'll go ahead and end it here. Next time, we'll do more of the Life Rekindled event story here. So yeah, that'll be for now. That's game.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good